This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friend Sarah and I gorge ourselves on overanalyzing a topic.
The Gorge is brought to you this week by Audible.com. That's right, we finally did it, sort of. Audible has hundreds of thousands of audiobooks, and listeners to The Gorge can get a free audiobook and the first month of a subscription free if you go to audibletrial.com/gorgecast. Right? Gorgecast.
Yes.
So audibletrial.com. I don't know why it's different. audibletrial.com/gorgecast. And if you sign up, we would really appreciate it. If you're looking for a recommendation, Ben and I both say you can't go wrong with the World War Z audiobook. It's really good. It has lots of different voice actors. Mark Hamill is there. Which is reason enough for you to listen to the World War Z audiobook. So, yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Audible. Sarah, what are we talking about this week?
This week, I'm back from a long trip away from home. You may have seen on Twitter. So we did some short, simple stuff because I haven't gotten through the Outer Worlds, and I haven't gotten through Death Stranding yet. So we took a break. We're doing some simple Indie Week stuff from itch.io, just like little fun experimental games. Two of them are from the Game Maker's Toolkit jam, I think. No, maybe only one of them was. I know one is from GMTK, one is from Ludum Dare. Two of them are from GMTK, and then one of them is from like a longer jam. So, yeah, let me think. How to start this? Like, how to go about starting this in the right way? Do we go from, like, most complex to least complex, or least complex to most complex?
Well, that's a good question, because how do you rank the ones that are, like, how do you rank them in complexity?
True. That's true, because, like, we have Elsewalker.
Yeah, I wrote the four of them down.
Okay.
So I remember which ones we wanted to play.
Okay.
So I'll just go with that list.
That works. So what's first?
So first is Glitchphobia.
Glitchphobia is a very interesting little experimental demo, really more so than anything.
Mm-hmm. It was a collection of like experimental visual like things you can do in Unreal.
Yeah.
It was cool. A lot of these, or a few of these that we picked are like, it's really cool to just see like what you can do with a game dev toolkit, you know?
Yeah. Most of these were things that were made very quickly and very simply. And it's like, oh wow, basically anybody can make video games these days. That's cool. It's like, it's been utterly democratized. If you wanted to go out and make a video game, I mean, you really could. There's assets out there. If you wanted to just like experiment and make a video game, you have two pretty easy to use engines to do it in. You can either do it in Unity or you can do it in UE4, both of which are pretty, I wouldn't say like beginner friendly, but they've both been said to be, pretty manageable. If Square Enix decided to drop their proprietary engine in favor of UE4 because it was helping them get games done faster, maybe, just maybe, that speaks to its usability, UE4 is usable, and Unity is also pretty easy to develop, which I think is really cool.
Like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Yooka-Laylee, the Impossible Layer, is made in Unity.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
A fairly big, popular studio uses Unity for their stuff.
Yeah. Dusk was made in Unity, in the paid version of Unity. Mm-hmm. I just think that's really cool. I think that it's like, you can really, if you go out, you can find a couple tutorials that'll walk you through the process of getting familiar with the actual systems to make these games, and you can sit down and over the course of a couple days or weeks, you can make a little experimental game. And both engines have tons of free assets to work with, or if you want to make something more polished looking, there's paid assets. A lot of them are really nice these days. I think it's awesome because we start to see these very just like simple experimental titles where people are really trying to just go like, well, I have this image of a thing that I wanted to try in my head. So I think that's cool.
And also, like, you get a lot of people who are very helpful. Like, there's tutorials and there are support forums everywhere.
Most subreddits are very busy all the time.
Yeah. And they are friendly. They are not afraid to, they're not annoyed to help you out. They are more than willing to take a look at your stuff and help you with coding or with finding assets or anything like that. But this glitch phobia is a very cool little, like, trippy aesthetic design. There's no plot or story to speak of, but, like, I can easily see a lot of these things being utilized in a horror game, or some kind of greater narrative.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get that bit with the mirror where you see your character and he's a guy in a straitjacket with the face pixelated. I was like, oh, that's really cool.
It's spooky. Yeah, it's a shame, really, that we haven't seen a lot of games since, like, Eternal Darkness. And maybe there's some more, like, indie games out there that have done it. But I would like to see more horror games, like, actually go a little bit harder with, like, the glitch horror aspect. Kind of the way Eternal Darkness did, like, TV horror, like the user interface horror of old analog TVs. I just think it'd be cool to have a computer game intentionally. I guess some people would mistake that as, like, an actual glitch, so I don't know. But
I mean, there are stuff like DDLC or One Shot that do that, but, like, those kind of do it more of an outside perspective, and I like that glitch phobia, like, kind of keeps that within the game.
Yeah.
And it just kind of warps with your perspective of the environment. I really liked the puzzle where in the dark room.
Yes.
Where you're like, I spent like minutes like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
That I can't, like, I keep getting reset. Like, what am I doing? And then it's like, oh, you just have to go.
Yeah.
You have to do it in one go. It was very cool.
I like the last puzzle, the spiral hallway. I just think that looks cool.
It always looks so cool.
It always just looks so cool, man. I was just like, yeah, I love it. I just think it's a neat little proof of concept and something that they label it as demo, so maybe they'll eventually, like, put out a couple more puzzles or areas. I don't know, but I would like to see more horror games use that aesthetic of just, like, glitching it. Like, if a video game glitches in a certain way, that's creepy. Like, we all have encountered, like, a video game glitch that creeps us out. Whether it's, like, floating eyeballs or, like, somebody, or, like, in a Bethesda game where you have, like, the dead model and the alive model loaded on top of each other kind of thing.
Things that, like, remind you that it's a game, but, like, in a threatening way.
Yeah, like, or, like, big, anytime you walk in and it's just, like, void. That one was creepy. I had one once, and I've seen it on other Fallout videos of glitches. I opened a door in, like, a factory, and in the door was the loading screen, and I could, like, walk away from it.
Oh, that's unsettling.
It's really weird. It was really, really weird. And I've seen other videos where that's happened to people, where it's literally like you open a door, and inside the door is the loading screen, like the standard, like, Fallout loading screen on a green background with, like, a floating gun or whatever. And you could walk away from it. And I was like, that's unsettling. I don't like that. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was, like, you're such, like, a artificial place, like an artificial environment, and then it's, like, reminding you, like, hey, this is video games. Like, I know I didn't forget, but also, like, I don't like being reminded either. All kinds of spooky stuff like that. I love it. I would love to see a whole game that was, like, really goes hard on, like, glitch horror, because I think that's neat.
This is a game that I can easily see being, like, 45 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's just, you just expand on what they've shown here and how you fuck with the player, basically.
Right,
like control-wise or visuals and, like, messing with your ability to control the character in that way.
neat. It's a good little thing to try out and see for yourself, I guess, is the easiest way to put it. Because it's extremely simple. You can complete it. You can complete it in like 10 minutes.
It's like 5-10 minutes long,
depending
and there's
on
no...
how long it takes you to get through the puzzles and stuff. There's no narrative at all. It literally just drops you in and says, "Go have fun."
It's all just a tech demo, but it's got,
neat concepts.
Neat concept, and boy, that aesthetic's really sharp, isn't it?
It's very strong,
love that,
black and white.
That reflective checkerboard tile thing. It's very, very clean.
Simple.
You don't see clean in horror that much.
I know, and I would like to see that utilized more too, because it's honestly more unsettling than dirty at this point. Because, everybody's got dirty shit in their lives, but really start clean. It's this is fake. I feel like you could use that really well for a whole horror game based around glitches. It's just introduce an artificially clean environment and expand outward from there with glitches. I think that'd be neat. Who knows?
I've always thought one of the best ways to do an unsettling horror thing is to take a normal environment and remove one aspect that you don't notice at first.
Ooh, yeah, that's good.
I was playing this actually happened during when I was playing Fallout, but somehow one of the mods I have for Fallout 4 messed with my lighting.
Oh.
And there were no shadows anymore.
Oh, that is spooky after a while.
And I was like, I didn't really notice at first, and I'm like, this game looks wrong. Something is off about this.
Good.
And I couldn't place it, and I'm like, but think if that was in real life. You walked into an area and there were no shadows anywhere.
Right, yeah.
That's the kind of thing that just ugh.
It's interesting because you think about it. It's okay, so let's the way at least that I would do a glitch horror game, just to expand out from here, is in my head what I would do is have it be you start out a normal video game and then things start to go wrong. But then how do you advertise a game like that? You can't, because it's supposed to be you're just playing a normal video game and then it all starts going to shit. You can't really advertise. It's one of those, it's one shot. Everybody's always just play one shot, don't actually read anything about one shot. It'd have to be that kind of a game, so, I don't know, man. I think it'd be interesting.
Yeah. It would be cool to be set it up as a horror, advertise it as a horror game.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not the horror that the game advertises. Set it in a haunted house or something, but then the game itself starts going wrong.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe one day the Gorge will get into Unity or UE4. Who knows? What's next?
But yeah, this is really cool. The next one I have on the list is Unlock Everything, which is the opposite of this kind of aesthetic.
I think I found our unifying theory though, and it's based around because with Glitchphobia, Unlock Everything, Elsewalker, and No Players Online, which is our 4 games for tonight. The unified theory seems to be computers themselves or computer interfaces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Because Glitchphobia is about glitches in a computer, and Unlock Everything is the act of literally unlocking everything for your game to work, in a meta sense. You have to unlock the main menu, which I think was great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a Ludum Dare game. It was made in 48 hours, and I kind of love it. It's so simple, but as soon as I realized the concept, I was yes, I love this. I want a whole game of this.
I could have played an hour of this.
Oh my god, yeah.
I could have played...
I think I played it for about 12 to 15 minutes, something like that. Just kind of putzing around.
This you could make this a full 8-boss Mega Man game.
Oh god, I would love it. You could totally just keep doing a whole and having things get locked again and unlocking you find you've unlocked the double jump or stuff like that. I mean, you could totally just make a full video game around this concept and make the player go for longer stretches of time without the ability to move left.
The idea of a game that the cool thing that limits even the most basic parts of a game is so interesting to me. I would love like you said, I would love to see oh, at the start of this level, you only have jump and move right.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
That would be, it's, and like, so it's very rudiment, like basic in this one, because again, it's a 48-hour game, but like, there's so much potential here, and I think that's also like one of the things I really like about doing episodes like this, is that like you can just see all this like creativity and inspiration like bursting out of these games.
Right.
And it's like, no, more of this, more of this. You have so much like talent and like creativity that I want to see this idea expanded. Like, just like the first thing you do, you unlock the menu, you unlock the ability to select continue or start, you unlock the background.
Yeah, you unlock just like the notion of like you unlock the in-level music, which is awesome. You unlock your ability to hear more clearly. I just think that stuff is great. It made me think, this is a weird one. It made, you know how in like Nier Automata you have to manage your chips and you can actually turn off your HUD and stuff like that?
I was about to say that exact thing, like the first bit where they're like, let me turn on your eyes. I'm like, oh, this is just like Nier. That's so cool.
That's cool. I would love a game based around like chip management. So you can't have like the ability, I mean, you could have the ability to like jump and shoot and move left and right, but you wouldn't have like background music or anything like that, or like you have like 8 slots and you have to manage what goes in those 8 slots. So it's like sometimes you can get like a really powerful thing, but you have to turn off like a really essential chip in order to use it. Like you can't have like it takes up like 4 slots or whatever. I think stuff like that is neat.
It's so cool. Like, I love the idea of like you have like 10 chips and 8 slots.
Yes.
And it's like, well, what do you go without? Like, what do you
go without your hearing? Do you go without, you know, peep those people who would do like blind speed runs just based off the sound? You know?
That would be cool. Yeah.
That would be cool.
You can, it would be so cool to design levels around that idea. Like, well, how do you get by this without jumping? Like, oh, well, there's a platform back there that takes you up to a new area.
Right.
That you can fall down later, but you have to, like, look for it. You have to know
where to go.
What you're doing.
Yeah. Or have it be, like, the more difficult route if you can't jump or something like that. I think stuff like that is just extremely smart and clever, and it's like, oh man, if it had been like that, I could have played an hour, 2-3 hours of this game, because it's just like, it's like a Mega Man hack, basically. It's just, Dr. Wily is in it, not really, but he's in it. It's like, and so like Mega Man is fun to play. I like Mega Man, everybody likes Mega Man. So I would have happily played more of this just to have like a neat little twist on Mega Man where you're swapping out your abilities. For the record, I think the best joke in the game is one that goes utterly unremarked on, and it's when you beat the boss and he doesn't drop anything.
You're right.
It's like the one time.
The one part of Mega Man that this game doesn't let you unlock.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, we're going to beat the boss and we're going to unlock the thing and then we're going to move on. Nope. I was like, that's clever, game. I see you. I see you. I like that.
And like, not only that, but like also like this game's like being a Mega Man inspired thing, like the aesthetic and the sound design are so sharp.
Yeah, all those.
Man.
Go ahead.
That music is so good.
It's catchy. The person who made the game, I don't know who, we'll list it in the credits of the video, of course. We'll have links to all of these games.
Yeah, of course.
In their little dev log thing in the actual game, I think it's neat. They list how many minutes it took them to make each track.
Oh, that's really cool.
So it's like the level 2 song, which is their favorite, took like 72 minutes. But the level 1 song only took 21 minutes, because they had to make it in 48 hours. So they actually like denoted how long everything took them to make. I was like, I like that. That's neat. That's neat,
super cool.
It's a cool way to break down, like, yeah, you have to make a game in 48 hours in Ludum Dare. I don't know how that's pronounced. Well, 48 hours is not a lot of time to make a video game.
It's less time than you'd think.
It's extremely tight because you still got to sleep at some point in there, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's cool. I just really, really like the concept behind this game. And I really think you could make a full video game out of it. Of just juggling chips.
Yeah, they did say, like, at the end, like, it's to be continued, and I hope that's not, like a throwaway thing. I hope you see a lot of these on itch.io where they're like, oh yeah, this is just a proof of concept for a bigger idea. And it's like, yeah, I'll keep an eye on that because this is something I'm really interested in seeing to its full potential.
Yeah, it's cute. I would like to see it, fully realized. And of course, life often gets in the way of itch.io creators because they are just like little indies making little games. Like the guy who made September 1999, God love his soul. He just got done with a pretty rough stint, so he's finally making video games again after a year, but he was having a hard time for a while there. So it's like, these games are just made by like usually 1 to 2 people, maybe a few more if you're lucky. And so sometimes proof of concepts don't get to go anywhere because life gets in the way, but I would really like to see this one turn into a full game with an active, like, using the unlock everything gimmick as like a full thing. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, it's a fun, like, it's also like a fun joke on like a Mega Man or a Metroid where it's like every game you restart with everything.
Right.
And yeah, like, I don't know, like, if they have like a Patreon or Ko-fi or something, but like, it would be cool to like see these people get the help to like work on their projects like this.
So, what's next on the list?
Next one I wrote was Elsewalker, and I think this one is probably like the highlight to me.
Really? Okay.
I think this mechanic is incredible.
It's literally just, do you want to learn how to program? Here you go.
You're programming the game after it's been programmed,
right.
Basically.
It's so clever.
A lot of times, like, a lot of puzzle games are either like, I guess, like, active or turn-based, you can say, where it's like an active puzzle is something like Portal, where you're kind of relying on timing and you're always kind of moving. And whereas a turn-based one is kind of like a crossword puzzle or like, something that like a Sudoku kind of thing.
Right.
This combines both of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, set up your first thing to get past this obstacle, but then, like, between obstacles, sometimes you have to swap really quickly.
And I like the chaos that the screen quickly becomes as you accumulate more floppy disks. So you just have, like, tons and tons of floppies, and you're like, oh god, I have to swap this one really quickly to this one. I love it. It's so clever. It's just a simple little interface, and it's like, here you go have fun and experiment. I love it. It's so cute too. I like the aesthetics a lot.
Oh yeah, the robot design is great.
The robot design is cute. I'm just a sucker for a cute robot.
Oh, of course. I love that, like, it requires like a lot of you never get past the puzzle on your first try.
No.
It's always like, oh wait,
Yeah.
And then you have to like, there's like a 7-step program for some of these puzzles, and I'm like, wait, so, okay, I need to put if spikes below, and then I need to swap that out for jump, and then flip, and then pull out run so he doesn't move, and then, and it's like, oh, okay, you have to like remember that whole pattern and enact it on the fly.
Yeah, and you can't, I like it because you can't really be like passive. You'd think like you just program your robot and he'd do the thing. But you kind of have to, you're still an active player. You're still making decisions on the fly. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's very smart and like an extremely simple way to tell someone like, this is basically how programming works. This is
how every game is made. It's all if-then statements and nothing else.
That's it. 700,000 if-then statements to make Death Stranding.
Okay, I don't know what it was, but it was I think it was Yandere Dev.
Oh god.
Like he showed a thing of his code.
Horrible
and it's just
spaghetti
like,
code.
It's just like a literal million if-then statements.
It makes me, like, I don't know anything about coding. I mean, I know slightly more about coding thanks to Elsewalker now, which is to say, I don't know, like, what is 0 times 2 is still 0, but that's me. But, like, even I saw, like, the Yandere devs, the fucking spaghetti code, and I was like, oh, I hate this.
Not like this.
Not like this. Anything but this. Anyway, that game's never getting fucking finished. That guy is, like, a weirdo. And he's just... No. I think he literally just sits around and does not work on his video game. He's been in development for, like, 100,000 years anyways. But this game is programmed a whole hell of a lot smoother than Yandere Dev, that's for sure.
I love the... Like you said, it gets very hectic in, like, the lower half of the screen.
Yes.
It's also very small.
Tiny. It's a browser game.
Yeah, but like the crampedness of it, like that really helps like the franticness, because it's like, oh, they're overlapping. I need to make sure I select the right one.
You just feel kind of like a helpless scientist trying to guide this dumb robot to get out of a factory, and you're just like, no, I have to protect my square baby. Because it kind of just trundles along, and you have to help it. I love it. It's
something that is
incredibly easy to make me imprint on things. So.
Something that is incredibly helpless, and except for when it gets a gun at the end of the game.
And then it immediately tosses the gun away, though. It's sweet. It's like, I only need this gun to escape, and then I'm free. And then it escapes out into the sunlight. You're like, that's nice. Good for you, robot. You're free.
I also love... Excuse me.
No, you're okay.
I love at the end... that the credits let you pick the music and use the same disc format. That was really cute.
That's so cute. I love stuff like that. Good little simple game. Totally free. Literally just nothing but free. And
you don't even have to download it. It's a browser game.
Yeah, it's a browser game. It's on itch. Takes about 7-8 minutes maybe. Totally worth your time. I love itch for things like this. I just think it's so great to have like a place that's just a collection of little, just baby experimental games, little concepts, and it's like, oh, you can just kind of explore someone's idea, like, with your own hands. I think that's neat. I think it's just so cool.
Yeah, it's just cool because, like, it's just great to see one person's idea for a game.
Yeah,
you know?
With no interference from anybody else, unless it's, like, a very small team, like the game we're about to talk about. And then,
So the last game we played, probably like the biggest in scope.
Yeah. Still pretty
I would
small.
say is No Players Online.
Yes.
Which is a game that struck me in one of my most primal fears.
Which is that all N64 games are haunted?
Yes, that, and then the other one, which is being the only person on a multiplayer server. I think that is a terrifying experience. So here's a personal tale.
Oh boy.
You know Left 4 Dead, right?
Yeah, of course.
Fun 4-player multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Not scary at all, right?
No, it's thrilling.
Mindless zombie shoot, right?
Yes, of course.
So Left 4 Dead 2 did this thing where they called mutations, where it's like a twist on the game mode, right? Like either like it's more witches or like no health or whatever. One of them was called Last Man on Earth, and what that does is it takes the squad of 4 and brings it down to 1, gets rid of all common zombies, and only has the super infected.
Oh god.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, I bet.
It's absolutely horrifying because you are just in this big area that's meant for horde enemies and 4 players.
Right.
And it's just you and occasionally a special infected.
Ooh. Oh, that does sound spooky.
I could not finish a level because it unnerved me so much.
Oh, that's awesome, though. That sounds great.
So when I got to this, and I'm like, this is just like that.
Right.
There's no one for me to rely on. There's no one for me to, like, see and, like, confront. It's just me. And honestly, they could have made that map, like, big enough to fit 16 players.
Yeah.
And made it even creepier for me.
Yeah, honestly, I get that it was meant to be, again, it's another thing that was kind of made for a challenge thing, so it had to be small. I get it, of course.
And also, like, the objective of the game is to get the flag back and forth 3 times. Like, you don't want to walk across this big, big empty field for no reason. But if they actually did make it like a Halo multiplayer map.
But it's just like you just know something is stalking you on a Halo multiplayer map. That's good. Yeah, it would have been big spooky. Just the small things, though. I mean, like, creepy music playing out of nowhere. That's good. I like stuff like that. The actual monster thing is actually pretty unnerving. That one time she gets real close to you. She's pretty spooky looking, actually. It's little touches like that. The VHS filter. The only have like the major complaint I've seen from other people and that I agree with is I don't think it necessarily needed the VHS framing device. I think that's kind of weird.
That one is kind of weird because it's a video game.
Yeah. Why?
Like it's not set up like 1999 where it's like this is a camcorder footage
and you're just playing it.
Yeah, it's like this is like a video game,
right?
Like and it's a 3D game, which means it's probably disc based.
Yeah, it's an odd so is it supposed to be like you're watching footage of somebody else's game, I guess? But I don't know. It just seems like it's removing you a step, like you're watching somebody else do a thing.
Yeah, but it's just like such a weird, like, it's a weird choice, like, framing device.
Right.
Because it's not congruous with what the game is.
Right, yeah.
Like, the game has a framing device of it's a VHS you found.
Right.
But it also has the framing device of it being a multiplayer online game.
Right.
And you clearly pick servers. Like,
yeah.
It's a PC game you're playing.
Right, yeah.
So, like, you have VHS footage of someone's computer game?
Yeah, I guess it's just that they wanted it to have a VHS filter when you were in the game so they could blow out the colors and stuff when they needed to.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, sure, I get. That's mostly valid. Yeah. But also, I mean, you could have just made it be like, you know, it's like an old video game. It looks like shit, you know?
Yeah.
Don't need to explain it further than that.
And if it's an old PC game, it's probably played on, like, a big CRT monitor, so, like, you could have just gone with that, like, filter aesthetic and would have been fine. But, like, beyond that, like, this game is, like, really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a neat concept. I love basically what it's saying is that, like, and somebody at Rock Paper Shotgun wrote an article about it too, and yeah, I get what it's saying is that, like, sometimes old things are meant to stay dead. Like, you don't need to play that old video game from when you were a kid. You don't need to, like, resurrect your dead wife. You don't need to get back on those servers. Like, like, sometimes it's just better to let it go, you know? Like, let the past die. I think that's really neat.
Also, like, I don't know, so I guess the question before I go into discussion about this is, what did you do to get to the end of this game?
I destroyed the the box. The music box.
And then
you don't have to. I looked it up on YouTube. You don't gotta. You can just run the flag back and forth.
And so, but you did just run the flag back and forth 3 times?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you try quitting the server and going into another server and doing it over?
I did not. Did you?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
So there's more to this game.
Tell me more.
So I saw like I was trolling through the comments after I was finished with it, and I'm like, someone's like, you know, I like this game setup, but I don't like the dead wife thing. I think it's unnecessary. And that's valid, because, like, if you're setting up, like, an aesthetic, like, type horror thing like this, you don't really want to give us too much to work with.
Right.
You know, you don't want to be like, oh, it was the butler all along.
Right, yeah, of course.
But then I'm like, wait, no, this game is very well done. Mm-hmm. And if they're going through the trouble of having this filter, like, aesthetic thing going, there's got to be more to it.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to quit the server, and then I'm going to go to another one and see what happens. And then if you do that and you run the flag, it's the exact same setup. It's the same, thing. You walk the flag back, and then it turns red, and then you see the ghost out of the corner of your eye, and then it comes really, really close to you.
Right.
And then when you get to the point where John Dev shows up, mm-hmm. he instead asks what you're doing again.
Oh!
And then there is a whole, like, look into the files of the game you downloaded thing.
Oh.
Like, look at the notepad doc, like the TXTs and stuff.
Okay. Oh man, I should have dug more. I played it kind of last minute, but sorry.
No, but it's like it's one of those things. It's like I wouldn't even thought about this unless like I read the comments and someone's like, "Oh yeah, here's like what I did to find the secret ending."
Okay.
And so when you do that, you get to like different areas of the game. Like how the level has that pit in the middle?
Yeah.
One of the things you do is disable the invisible wall.
Oh.
And then fall into there and get taken to a separate room where there's like a bunch more stuff to like poke around and investigate and stuff. And there is legit a phone number that you can call and hear a pre-recorded message.
Wow.
Yeah, they went deeper than they really needed to with this.
Wow, okay, that's rad. Maybe it means they're gonna make more.
I really think this means there's like more in the works.
I hope so. That's cool.
Especially like out of all the games, like I think this one is like definitely like the most like we have plans for more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like once I because I kind of agreed. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, oh, it was to resurrect my dead wife.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
and it's like, oh,
it's really mundane. Okay.
Yeah, like it's not like it's. It's the unknown is scarier,
Yeah,
like
of course.
It's creepier when it's a thing, like a bunch of scribbly text joined your game.
Right.
And you see this little black shape out of the corner of your eye every so often.
Yes.
Boy, they did a really good job of like knowing where exactly to place the figure too.
Yeah, so that you would just barely catch it. One of the creepier things is when you're coming on, like one of the times you're coming back with the flag. And the stairwell, like the lighting in it turns red. Mm-hmm. And then when you round the corner, the lighting turns off. You're like, that's ominous.
Yeah, not a big fan of that.
Not a fan of that. Oh, I did get the feeling, and this might just be like, this is just crazy speculation, because obviously I haven't seen like the secret room or whatever. But I got kind of the feeling that like if there was going to be a full game about this with this setup, I would almost feel like the dude thinks it's his wife, but it's very clearly not his wife. Like that's the vibe I got from the thing, was that it actually is not his dead wife. It's like something way worse, and he just thinks he's like summoned the soul of his dead wife into like this server, and it's way more complex than that. That's the feeling I got. Anyways, I don't know how true that is. I don't know for sure either way. Like that would be really good. Yeah,
I kind of like the idea of this game being like, I like games kind of like DDLC or One Shot. Boy, we talk about those a lot when we talk about indie games. They're very good.
You should probably play One Shot.
Very good games. I like you, the player, the person at the controller, being part of the narrative in that way. Because, like, you could do this game where, like, you're playing as, like, a guy who was investigating a weird server.
Right.
It's way more effective when it's you. You found this thing.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be way more effective if it was just you boot the game up and it's like, here's a list of servers. Which one would you like to go on? Yeah.
That's very cool. And, like, I like if they expand it, I would like if like a lot of these servers like something slightly different in each one, because you get ones where it's like no bots or whatever, it's like special bonus server.
Yeah, there's one that's labeled for like mods or something like that.
Yeah. That's a good, like, that would be a very good way to like like put in a bunch of like terrifying stuff into your game, like change up the structure of it with that.
Yeah. It'd be cool to be able to go into the different servers and see that it's like way different. It's like, don't like this. You can't quit out. Don't like that. You know,
very like, you know, PT.
Yep.
Each cycle, like, what's different?
Yeah.
How do I get through it this time? What do you want me to do?
You could totally make like a really fucking weird PT kind of game where it's like every map, like every server is technically the same, but there's like weird shit that happens in each server and you have to kind of figure it out from there. That would be cool.
God, you know what? I don't know if it was just my own brain tricking me or not, but the thing that really scared me is, I think I've told you about this, my fear of this before, but like, you know the gates behind the flags on each side?
Yeah.
Are they open, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're closed at first and then they open, right?
At the very end, they're open, but you can't go through them.
That
Ominous.
scares the crap out of me.
Ominous, yes,
because
extremely.
I've told you about my fear of old N64 games and going out of bounds of the environment and not being able to get back in.
Yep.
And that's exactly what that can set you up to do. Like, oh, nope, you clipped out a world.
Now, man, that would be dope, though, if you could have, like, a server where the intention is you've got to get out of the world, and there's something, like, underneath the map that you've got to find. Ooh.
Yeah.
Mad spooky, yeah. Oh, that'd be good.
But yeah, this game is so, like, this is exactly, like, the kind of horror I like. This is exactly my kind of thing, where it's not objectively like terrifying, but it's unsettling and the tension just keeps building more and more and more.
Yeah, and I definitely, you know, it has just enough to kind of like make your skin crawl. Old, like we've said, old N64 games they're all just fucking haunted, every single one of them.
The lower your poly count, the scarier you are.
Yeah, of course, and this game really really works with that. I like the janky gun shooting noise because it just sounds terrible, like an old game.
But you know, the reload sound is really good.
Yeah, it is though.
It hits real good on the ears.
It's a nice like checky kind of sound.
Very chunky, and I'm like, oh, that's good. I like that.
Yeah, let's hit that reload button a few more times, fam.
I like that. I also like that your gun can fire like between 2 and 5 shots, and it's like random every time.
Yeah, like that's game.
That's kind of also creepy.
Yeah, it's a good way to make you feel like unsafe. I do wish, if I had to say one thing that always ramps up the spook, is like you never get to really use your gun in like a meaningful way, and it's like if you used your gun at some point to actually do something and then they take the gun away from you, that's always like I don't like it.
Or just like when the ghost comes at you, you know, your gun is immediately out of ammo and you can't reload.
Right.
It would have been way better if you could shoot and then it just doesn't do anything.
Right. Although that first scare is pretty good when you do try to shoot at it and the game just won't let you. You're like, I'm
like,
boned. Yeah. It would be good if you could shoot at it the first time, but not the second time, to like let you know, like, hey, you're mad fucked, yo.
Yeah, that would be really good.
That's how you do it, is when you're like, here's your set of tools, and then you slowly start stripping those tools away from you. That's how you do it. That's how you scare people. So, yeah, it's a fascinating little game that has a lot of just like subtle atmosphere and is again free. Cannot be free.
No, it's totally worth your time to check this out and become very scared. This game out of the 4, like I said that Elsewalk is like my highlight one. I think this one is like weird enough. I think this is the one I want to see more of the most, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love to see this like greatly expanded on. I would like for the other ones, I would like to see like their mechanics like expanded upon.
Yeah.
Into like a new game, whereas I want to see more of
this specific game.
Yeah, I would like to see no players online bigger.
Yeah, but more.
Whereas, like, yeah, like I want to see like Glitchphobia's mechanics incorporated into a larger scope game. I want to see Elsewalker's mechanics like put into something bigger. God, you know what? The 3DS would have been perfect for Elsewalker. It's got 2 screens.
Or the Wii U, rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been great.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah. But yeah, and like Unlock Everything, I want to see expanded to like a full 8-boss Mega Man game.
Yeah, of course.
But this one, I'm like, no, tell me more about what's going on in this world that you've developed.
I mean,
put me in a different map.
They're actively updating it, apparently. So, who knows? Maybe they will do more.
You know you've got a good game when there is a public Google Doc that's keeping track of the weird shit in the game.
That is always the perfect sign that you've created a mystery.
Yeah, that's how you know that there's something up.
There's a Pets Cop public Google Doc that people are allowed to contribute to, and there's a No Players Online. So there you go. You've basically made like a playable version of Pets Cop, which is what you want. Yeah, no, the only thing I do know about it is that you can get your servers back if you do the Konami code.
Yes, that is the thing I learned too.
That's the thing
really
I saw.
Cool.
That's the one thing I did see, is that you can get your servers back if you do the Konami code. So, you know, that's cool.
If you do the thing, because that's the other cool thing it does, where it does that cool persistent save thing where it's like, oh, if you do get all 3 flags, like the game shuts down and you can't access anything anymore.
Yeah, all the servers are gone. I like stuff like that. I'll always like stuff like Undertale. Again, we're always going to keep bringing up the same 3 games: DDLC, Undertale, and One Shot. Thank you. I just blanked out on it. Those games all do that too. I like it no matter what. I think it's cool. I just like it. It's makes you feel again like you're part of the story, and it is again kind of weird why like the VHS tape framing device is there. Because it's just such an odd thing to include.
Like, it's understandable, but it's like, no, you need to actually do it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. Just put some CRT scan lines over the whole thing instead. There you go.
Yeah, no problem. Call it a day.
That's
you find
it.
Make the little like the starting animation. Make that burned CD going into a disk drive, and there you go.
That'd be perfect. So.
Because that's, you know, we talked about how like VHS tapes are creepier than DVDs.
Yes.
The exception is a burned DVD with a Sharpie on it.
Unlabeled, or it's just got like a Sharpie that just says game on it.
Yeah.
Like really vague burned DVDs are also mad's cursed. Maybe even more so than a VHS, because like, I don't know, the VHS having like a real kind of analog, like you can only put it in a VHS, so its evil stays contained to your VHS player. But like a DVD or a CD, you put that in your computer. Now your computer is evil, and now that evil can get on the internet, like been drowned. You know, like don't. That's evil. Don't. That's pure evil right there. So, you know. Ben Drowned is a thing I have not thought about in a long time.
Oh boy, yeah, you opened up some memories with that one.
I know, right?
Speaking of cursed polygonal games.
Extremely cursed content. Maybe some of the most... Boy, speaking of like mad spooky, that was some of the spookiest times on the internet, was when that shit was updating live. I was like,
Yeah, that shit was genuinely creepy, because that shit had video. That was not your normal creepypasta.
It had a creepy song. Man, the kids these days go full boomer. Kids these days, they just don't respect it. They don't respect the art. Man. Oh, wow.
Anyone can write a text document. It takes a real man to make fake gameplay.
Make fake modded gameplay where you're fucking around an emulator and doing weird spooky music and stuff. That shit was awesome. They kept going afterwards, and that always sucked. It's like, no, you should have just left it at the reveal that you've like infected everybody. And then you kept going, and then it just dropped off. Don't do that.
Know when to end things.
Like us right now.
Yeah, we know when to end things, because that was the 4 games we played, and yeah, itch.io is a fucking great website. It's
the best resource for just like really seeing like weird stuff that people are working on.
Go to that site and find someone's 48-hour project or someone's school project and play it and see like the amount of like just insane levels of creativity and experimentation that goes on because someone has an idea.
Yeah, it's cool. Or maybe it doesn't have any of that stuff, but maybe it just kind of scratches a spot in your brain that you love. So there's so much on itch.io. Most of it is free, some of it is paid, and if it's paid, it's extremely cheap. And they're just, they're producing cool little concepts out there. So go find one for yourself, or come play the ones we suggest today.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think that does it.
We have a new outro, and we should do that now.
Yes. So like we said, we're brought to you by Audible, but we're also, if you want to pay us directly, we're brought to you by Patreon at patreon.com/thegorgepodcast, or on Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/thegorge.
Well, none of our URLs are.
They are not.
Oh man!
And again, our Audible is audibletrial.com/gorgecast.
We'll put links to all of this in the description.
Yeah, they'll all be on there, and links for all these games in the description as well. Thank you to Broke Free for your background music. You can follow me on Twitter at thegorgepodcast. You can follow Sara at radioinactivity. And you can listen to Sara play a bunch of other games that don't involve computers at her other podcast.
Hey, I'm in another podcast called Big Gay Nerds, where me and a bunch of cool queer friends get together and we play tabletop games. We try out a lot of systems. We have a lot of fun. This month's is Monster of the Week. It's kind of it's like a monster hunting game sort of thing. I'm not in it, but I'll be back with the next block because I think we're going back to Blades in the Dark. I'm not sure. We're still hashing it out. Or, if you do want to hear my beautiful voice more, you can go listen to our last block called Pig Smoke, where we play a bunch of professors in a magical college. It's incredible. Like I said, we do a lot of systems, man. You can find us at Big Gay Nerds on SoundCloud, and you can find the links to the rest of our social media from there. Thanks.
All right, that'll do it for us.
What you got?
I don't know. This is a tough one because they were all really good.
They were all pretty good, and nothing really earned my burning ire. Can I do a weird one?
Yeah, go for it.
Man, fuck the mules in Death Stranding. I just gotta get that off my chest right now. Fuck those guys. I'm just trying to get from point A to point B. Y'all don't need to come hunt me down. All I've got right now is a rope in my fists. Although I got caught by them, and it was my first encounter with the mules, and I just kicked the shit out of all of them. I know you're supposed to run, but I kind of I was where the fuck am I? And then I looked up and they're all coming at me, and I was like, oh well, I'm Norman Reedus, so I guess it's time to bust some ass. So I just
go.
I just fought all of them, and it actually worked out. I literally knocked every single mule in that first encounter area unconscious. Because nice. I'm just kind of sure, why not? So yeah, that's what I got, because everything in these games was good. So yeah. Good night, everyone.
Good night.